Hey guys, it's Kallie with Twilight Series Theories and Bookshelf Banter. I also run a couple of other fan sites if you hadn't figured that out. But today I am bringing you a video, not of a review, not something silly related to Twilight, even though there is a little bit of Twilight involved. And it actually is something that I was challenged with by one of my friends. She and a couple of friends were talking about how if they could pick a fictional husband, there were so many to choose from, they wouldn't know who to pick. And then she proceeded to ask me who I would pick. And so Krystal, who has instigated this whole thing, posted her list on Friday. And then Stephanie, another friend of ours, posted her list yesterday. And so it's my turn. Tomorrow you will hear from Kelly, and we all have different tastes, which it's been really interesting to see how people have answered this question. And so now I'll go ahead and get with it and let you know who I picked. I have to let you know that there are reasons for picking these guys as my fictional husband. There are timeshares involved from what I understand, because some of us want to share maybe. Although I think that if it were up to us, we wouldn't share if it were happening fictionally. But here we go. So I can't help but first say that Mr. Darcy is my number one fictional husband pick, and probably because that was the first male lead character that I really fell in love with, and it really does. It sounds crazy, but Mr. Darcy reminds me of my husband. And I knew Mr. Darcy before I knew my husband. That sounds so crazy in my head. But when I met my husband, there were so many things about him that reminded me of Mr. Darcy that's part of the reason that I fell in love with my husband, because he had some of the same characteristics. Now, it's not pride and it's not prejudice, but there is a formality that my husband has when it comes to dating, and just the fact that he's a little old school. So that's something that I liked, and their looks are similar as far as the way they're described. But anyway, moving on. My second pick, and y'all are going to laugh at this, is Ron Weasley from Harry Potter. And it really is because he's funny, and it doesn't hurt that he's ginger, but he is hilarious, and I love a guy that can make me laugh. And again, my husband makes me laugh. Now, as far as more modern fictional characters, I will say that I love Edward from Twilight, and it's not because he's Edward, but there are characteristics of each of these characters that I love more than anything. And for me, Edward puts Bella first and looks out for her well-being more than anybody else's. And my husband does that. So with me, and it makes me feel special. And it's something that I think is a priority as a woman, to find a husband or a man that does that. Then, of course, I have Nicholas Brisbane on my list. If you don't read Deanna Rayburn, you should if you're an adult, because some of those are saucy. And then there's Poe from Graceling, who I love, and he's blind, but he's wonderful, and he sees Katza for who she is, and I love that. Then we have Peeta Mellark from The Hunger Games. People are going to be fighting over him, and it's not that I love the way he looks, if that makes any sense, but it's that he's loved Katniss for so long without saying anything. And it sounds cheesy, but my husband and I were friends for 3 years before we ever even had our first date, and he liked me the whole time. And he never said anything. So yeah, it reminds me of Peeta. But then we also have Jim from Clockwork Angel, and I might have to go into a verbal brawl with someone over this character. He is just wonderful. If you haven't read Cassandra Clare's Clockwork Angels, I love it more than her Mortal Instruments series. So yeah, Jim. Then we also have Kashan from the Tiger series, and the girls are going to go nuts over this because I didn't pick Ren, but Kashan is funny, and he is active and adventurous, and I love that. Oh, anyway. Lastly, I have Everett from The Survivors. Notice I didn't choose Mark or Cole. I chose Everett, and I think it's just because he's so true. He knows that he's found his true love, and there's no faltering with that. And then also Four, who is in Divergent, and he's in Dauntless. He's the picture of fearless, and the one time he finds fear in anything is when he's afraid, for, tricks. So you got to read Divergent by Veronica Roth. It's so good. So those are my fictional hubbies. I know it's like kind of a long list, but I did want to really focus on the fact that it has more to do with the characters having characteristics that my husband has. And so if all you want is my list, then go ahead and turn the video off. But I do have to say one more thing. And it really is that we read these books and we think of these characters and how they have true love. And I can honestly say that as much as I love reading, I know my true love is with my husband. And I want to explain that the word true and the word love are not probably what you really think they are when you say them on a daily basis. True means it doesn't end. It's never false. It's never untrue. And so for me, that means making a decision every day for my husband. And that makes it true every day. And I also know that love doesn't mean a feeling that you have. Love is actually an action. It's protecting and providing for your spouse or your boyfriend or girlfriend. And for me, I have true love with my husband because I make it so. And I really, I'm going to be embarrassed in a minute because I'm going to tell you something, but I did not tell one guy other than my husband that I love him. And it's not because there weren't guys that I dated, but it's because I wanted to save that for one person. And for me, I know it's more than a word. And for some people, it is just a word. But I wanted to save that love, if that makes any sense, for my husband. So I didn't say it to anybody else until I knew I was going to marry my husband. And I know that's out there for you if you choose it. And I chose it. I chose well. I chose really well. Did you hear the list of characters I just compared my husband to? So with that being said, I love you guys. I am so excited about Valentine's Day and all of this banter over fictional husbands. But just know that the same way you don't want to be compared to a Victoria's Secret model, or the same way you don't want to be compared to a cover of some magazine, a guy doesn't want to be compared to the perfect character in a book. And so find what you want, know what you want, and look for that in a real person. I guess that's all. This feels so dorky, but I felt the need to say it. So hope you guys have a great day. I'll be bringing a review really soon, and I will talk to you later.